Hi everybody! So today's video is a video topic that's been going around YouTube for a couple of weeks. Well, not really a couple of weeks, more like a week and a half. And it's on fluffy Wicca or fluffy witchcraft. And I'm just going to start talking and hopefully something smart comes out on the topic. So this started with Avalon Moon 91, or Alison. She's an Australian witch who makes videos here on YouTube. You've most likely heard of her. Anyways, started with her making a video called Why Must I Be a Fluffy Witch? And it was all about why should I have to be all love and light and positivity all the time, because we're finding more and more in Wicca and witchcraft and in paganism nowadays that people are focusing mostly on being a happy, positive person and not embracing their dark side, so to speak. And those are fluffy witches. A fluffy witch can also be someone who is more focused on the materials and the tools used in witchcraft and the allure of the unknown, I guess you could say. And that's really what they're focused on, not really the spiritual aspect. Those can also be considered fluffy witches. Anyways, I think the term fluffy is actually a little bit offensive, and when people use it just nonchalantly, I get a little bit offended because it's like, well, some of those things that they're talking about I do. Like, I do like all of my tools. I do like all of the fancy things I have. I really do. And I do like being a happy and positive and upbeat person. But does that make me fluffy? Like, it's like you're saying that I'm really not a real witch, or I'm not a real pagan, or I'm not a real Wiccan, or whatever you're referring to when you're using the term fluffy. It makes me feel like you're saying that I'm fake. And that's really not the case. I think a lot of people focus on the love and light aspect of their spirituality because that's what they really need at that time in their life. I see a lot of people here on YouTube in the pagan community that have suffered with depression and anxiety. And I think the love and light and peace and positivity aspects of a lot of these spiritual paths could really help them. I'm not going to argue that there has to be some balance in your life. You can't just be positive and upbeat all the time, but that's just natural. We're not always going to be happy. And someone who is always happy, they're going to have a day where they're not so happy, when they're feeling a little bit angry or sad or what we would call negative emotions. Everyone feels those. And just because someone wants to focus on the love and light, or that's just their personality, I don't think that's wrong, and I don't think that makes them fluffy. Also, I mean, the world we live in today is just such a negative place. I feel like a lot of people choose to focus on the negative aspects. There are a lot of negative things in the world we live in. And I think a little extra love and light couldn't hurt. It really couldn't, because, I mean, the balance of nature and the balance of the world is already, topsy-turvy. So being extra positive or extra loving, I really don't think is a bad thing. When it comes to fluffy witches, so to speak, in the sense that they are more focused on the tools and the magic and the allure and everything stereotypical, I guess you could say, about witchcraft or Wicca or paganism. Well, I mean, what attracted you to this spirituality? What attracted you to this path? I'm pretty sure a lot of you are going to say, oh, well, obviously I was interested in magic and that kind of, part of it. And that's usually what gets people interested. And if you have, an act for that, or if you have a connection with those things, I mean, there's a good chance that you have a connection to the spiritual path, but we all find it in our own ways. And, of course, when people are first starting out, you don't know what to do, and you think that this is how you should practice. You think that everybody practices that way. And it's just, I think Jeremy Pagan 94 said it right. It's kind of like a rite of passage, I guess you could say. But I don't know. If that's how you want to practice your path, then go ahead. If you want to be all love and light, then go ahead. There shouldn't be anybody holding you back from that, because sometimes you really just need that. You really need something to hold on to. If you're feeling empty and alone and afraid and you really don't have anybody, sometimes holding on to these things in your spiritual path or your religious path, they can help you a little bit. I mean, like, I don't have a lot of friends, and paganism is a big part of my life, and I think it's no shock that that's obviously part of me not having that many friends and me not having a big social life and being different, because I mean, I have the time to do that. And I have the time to research and do all these things, and I have the time to work on myself spiritually and be a happy and positive person. Now, don't get me wrong, I do have my days, and when I get angry, I get angry. Like, it is the end of the world if I'm pissed off. But the point I'm trying to make is, I think it's silly, absolutely silly, to say you're a fluffy witch because you do this, or you're a fluffy witch because you do this. It's like saying you're a fake witch. You're a fake pagan, you're a fake Wiccan because you do these things. And I don't think that's fair at all. And I think most of you can agree with me. There's nothing wrong with love and light. There's nothing wrong with having negative emotions. Because you're a human being, despite what most people might think about you. You are a human being. So just try to be happy, and if you have a bad day, then you have a bad day. Like, there's nothing you can really do about that. It's just the cycle of life. That's how things go. That's how it's meant to be. You're not meant to be positive and laugh and light all the time. But at the same time, if you do feel that way, you can't just say, okay, I feel happy right now, but I've had too much happiness, so I need to feel angry, and I need to feel sad, and I need to feel negative, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's, no. If you are having a bad day, well, then you just take a deep breath and say, you know what, maybe this day is just not my day, and you just keep going. If things turn around, things turn around. If things don't, well, you know what, there's always tomorrow. Anyway, so that's my thought on fluffy witches and fluffy Wicca, or fluffy whatever you want to call it. I personally think that when referring to other witches, we should just not use the word fluffy, because it does have a negative annotation with it. Joanna from Major Arcana TV talked about, in her video regarding the subject, about why does fluffy have to be a bad term? And I don't think it has to be at all, because, you know, it's okay to be positive. It's okay to want certain things involved in your practice. That's okay. And so, if someone tells you that it's fluffy, or that it's wrong, or that you're being fake, just remember that maybe they're just having a bad day. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. And I will see you guys in my next video.